Why did Jermaine and you break up?
Oh, Ben, I had heard that he was cheating.
Yeah. Probably just me being reckless.
Remember the backlash fans had when Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri's relationship went public? God, they thought the stark contrast between the two would make them unsuitable for long. But their years of happiness overcame all those prejudices. In the end, however, Janet and Jermaine disappointed their fans when they abruptly announced their separation. To learn more about the intimate details of their relationship, don't miss this video. As mentioned, when news broke that Janet Jackson was dating music producer Jermaine Dupri, it sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Many couldn't quite wrap their heads around the pairing. After all, Janet Jackson was more than just another pop star. She was the Empress of Pop, a member of the iconic Jackson family, widely considered America's Black royal family. Her career spanned decades, with multiple platinum albums, chart-topping singles, and a legacy that extended beyond music into the realms of fashion, film, and dance. She was polished, elegant, and emblematic of pop royalty. On the other hand, Jermaine Dupri, while a celebrated figure in his own right, was from a vastly different world. Hailing from Atlanta, Dupri made a name for himself as a producer and rapper. He had built a thriving career working with hip-hop and R&B artists, founding So-So Def Recordings, and producing hits for the likes of Usher, Mariah Carey, and TLC. But despite his achievements, Dupri's image was more closely associated with the gritty, unapologetic world of hip-hop and Southern rap. He was known for spending time in gentlemen's clubs, a stark contrast to Janet's more refined public persona. The contrast between the two was glaring, and for many fans and observers, the relationship seemed unlikely. Janet, 6 years older than Dupri, came from a world steeped in discipline, professionalism, and public scrutiny, while Dupri embraced a more laid-back, party-friendly lifestyle. Their contrasting images led to widespread speculation. What could Janet possibly see in him? Was this just a fling? Could their relationship possibly last? Yet, despite the naysayers and the relentless gossip from the media, Janet and Jermaine's connection deepened over time. They seemed to defy the odds, showing the world that love isn't always about fitting into a mold or meeting expectations. In fact, their relationship became a testament to the power of chemistry and connection beyond superficial differences. They were frequently seen together, smiling, and enjoying each other's company. And in interviews, Jermaine often spoke about his deep admiration for Janet, not just as an artist, but as a person. One of the most public displays of their love came when Jermaine got a large tattoo of Janet on his ribcage, a permanent declaration of his feelings. It wasn't just any tattoo. It was a massive, detailed portrait of her face, symbolizing his deep devotion. The couple also got matching tattoos at a secret, undisclosed location, further solidifying their bond. However, as time went on, cracks began to show. Despite being together for nearly a decade, the pair never took the next step toward marriage, which led to speculation about the future of their relationship. While neither Janet nor Jermaine publicly discussed their reasons for parting ways in detail, the breakup shocked fans. The couple had seemed so solid, so in love, and many were left wondering, what could have gone wrong? First, let's look back at their journey to each other. Reportedly, Janet Jackson's introduction to James DeBarge came through her sister, LaToya Jackson. At the time, LaToya was dating Bobby DeBarge, one of the members of the popular family group, DeBarge. The Jacksons and the DeBarges, both famous families in the music industry, naturally crossed paths, and it wasn't long before Janet was introduced to Bobby's younger brother, James DeBarge. James and Janet quickly hit it off, and according to their sister Bunny DeBarge, their connection grew strong enough to lead them down a path few expected. In an interview with Vibe magazine, Bunny revealed that Janet and James began secretly dating before making the impromptu decision to elope. At just 18 years old, Janet made a bold choice to marry James in his hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, away from the prying eyes of the media and perhaps her family. James was 21 at the time, and their decision to marry so young and without the consent or knowledge of the Jackson family shocked many. For Janet, whose life was already highly controlled and influenced by her famous family, particularly her father, Joe Jackson, this secret marriage was a major act of rebellion. The Jackson family had long been known for their tight-knit, disciplined approach to fame, with Joe overseeing the careers and personal lives of his children. To them, Janet's elopement was nothing short of a nightmare. It was said that Joe Jackson was furious, as he saw the DeBarges as a troubled family, particularly when it came to rumors of substance abuse. For Janet to marry James was to tether herself to a family that did not meet Joe's standards, and it created a significant amount of tension within the Jackson household. It didn't take long for issues in the marriage to surface. After only a few months together, the young couple's relationship began to unravel. James DeBarge's substance abuse problems, which had long plagued his personal life, started to become more apparent. The Jackson family, protective of their youngest daughter, quickly intervened. Just as quickly as it had started, Janet's marriage to James was over, and the union was annulled. Officially, their relationship ended on the grounds of irreconcilable differences, but it was clear that James's personal struggles had played a significant role. However, even after the annulment, rumors surrounding Janet and James's short-lived marriage persisted. One of the most persistent rumors was that Janet had secretly given birth to a baby during their marriage, a claim that followed her for decades. Some speculated that the child had been given up for adoption or raised by another family member. Both Janet and James denied these claims at the time. Yet years later, James DeBarge reignited the rumor, stating in interviews that he believed Janet had indeed given birth to their child and had hidden the baby from him out of fear. James alleged that he had heard whispers within the family and even received letters from individuals claiming to be the long-lost child. Despite his claims, Janet consistently and adamantly denied the existence of any secret child. In an interview with Vibe magazine, she flat-out rejected the allegations, dismissing them as fabrications. After the end of her marriage to James, Janet focused on her burgeoning career. She released the critically acclaimed album Control in 1986, a declaration of her independence, both professionally and personally. Around this time, she crossed paths with Rene Jr., a dancer and aspiring music video director who was working as a backup dancer for her sister, LaToya. Rene and Janet quickly developed a romantic relationship, one that would eventually lead to a secretive and long-lasting marriage. Rene became a significant influence on Janet's career. More than just a romantic partner, he was also her creative collaborator. Rene co-wrote a remarkable 37 of Janet's songs, including some of her biggest hits, and he directed many of her iconic music videos. Together, they crafted the visual and sonic style that would define Janet's career in the late 1980s and early 1990s. He is perhaps most famously known as the hands that covered Janet's chest on her controversial 1993 Rolling Stone cover, a provocative image that became a defining moment in Janet's career, symbolizing her embrace of both her sexuality and artistic freedom. Despite their close professional and personal bond, Janet and Rene took extreme measures to keep their marriage a secret from the public. While the two were often seen together and were known to be romantically involved, Janet repeatedly downplayed the seriousness of their relationship in interviews. To the outside world, they were simply dating. In reality, however, the two had secretly gotten married on March 31st, 1991, a fact that would not be revealed to the public until after their eventual divorce in 2000. The fairy tale ending that many hoped for Janet Jackson and Rene Elizondo Jr. was never realized. Despite their decade-long relationship and successful creative partnership, cracks in their marriage began to surface over time, culminating in an unexpected and highly publicized divorce. One of the most striking incidents that signaled the beginning of the end occurred while Janet was on tour in France. According to reports from the National Enquirer, an unusual series of events led to a serious injury for the pop icon. It was reported that Janet was scratched in the eye by a dog, and in a separate incident she accidentally cut her other eye with a magazine. The injuries were severe enough that Janet was rushed to a hospital, where her condition was listed as serious. The situation was alarming for her and her team, and an insider told the Enquirer that Janet lost her eyesight temporarily, unable to see for an entire month. During this difficult time, Janet found herself bedridden, vulnerable, and unable to perform or continue her demanding schedule. But perhaps the hardest part of her ordeal wasn't just the physical toll of her injuries. It was the lack of emotional support she received from her husband, Rene. According to the insider, Rene was not there for Janet in the way she needed him to be. His detachment and absence during her recovery reportedly left her feeling isolated and unsupported at a time when she needed him most. It was in this state of emotional and physical vulnerability, while lying in bed unable to see or do anything, that Janet made a life-altering decision. She decided that her marriage to Rene was over. The lack of support from her husband during such a critical moment in her life was a turning point. However, despite her internal decision to end things, it wasn't Janet who took the first legal step toward divorce. In fact, it was Rene who eventually filed for divorce in June 2000. The news of the divorce filing shocked fans and the media alike. For years, Janet had managed to keep her marriage to Rene a secret, and most people were completely unaware that the two had even been married. The secrecy around their relationship had been meticulously maintained, with Janet presenting herself as single in the public eye. Rene's filing, however, blew the lid off their hidden marriage, thrusting their private lives into the spotlight in a way neither of them had anticipated. As details of their split began to emerge, it became clear that the relationship had been far from perfect behind closed doors. According to divorce documents obtained by The Telegraph, Rene's account of their marriage painted a picture of deep dissatisfaction and frustration. He claimed that their union had been manipulative and one-sided, alleging that Janet had maintained most of the control. One of Rene's primary grievances was that Janet refused to give him proper credit for the work they had done together. Although Rene had co-written and collaborated on many of Janet's hit songs, he claimed that she had purposefully withheld co-writing credits from him, ostensibly to protect her image as a solo creative force. This issue of credit and recognition became a focal point of Rene's frustration. He felt that his contributions to Janet's music and career had been downplayed or erased in order to present her as an independent artist. Rene's role in shaping Janet's image, sound, and visual identity during their time together had been significant, and he had taken on the responsibilities of both husband and collaborator. But when it came to public acknowledgement, Rene believed Janet deliberately kept him out of the limelight to preserve her solo star power. This, in his view, made their relationship unequal and deeply unfair. Rene also accused Janet of being the one who insisted that their marriage remain a secret from the public. He claimed that it was her idea to hide their relationship in order to maintain her image as an unattached, independent woman, a strategy that, while beneficial for Janet's career, left Rene feeling invisible and unappreciated. For nearly a decade, he had been a silent partner in both their personal and professional lives, and the secrecy took a toll on him. One of the most revealing pieces of information came in the form of a psychologist's report that was filed along with the divorce documents. According to this report, Rene was described as having a personality disorder that made him vulnerable to being manipulated, exploited, and unduly influenced. This diagnosis suggested that Rene's psychological makeup made him more susceptible to being taken advantage of in their relationship, contributing to the power imbalances that he had claimed throughout the divorce proceedings. For Rene, these vulnerabilities may have left him feeling overshadowed and marginalized in both his personal and professional life with Janet. In contrast to Rene's perspective, Janet offered her own explanation for the secrecy that had surrounded their marriage. In a public statement, she clarified that the decision to keep their marriage private was not a reflection of her feelings toward Rene, but rather an attempt to protect a part of her life from the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. Janet had spent her entire life under a microscope. Being a member of the famous Jackson family meant that every detail of her personal life had been dissected by the media from a young age. As a result, she longed for a semblance of normalcy, particularly in her relationships. Janet explained that ever since she was a child, her personal life had played out in front of the world, and for once, she simply wanted to experience what it was like to have a normal family life, away from the pressures of fame. In this context, her decision to keep her marriage with Rene a secret was an attempt to carve out a private space for herself, something she had rarely, if ever, been able to do. "I hope my fans will understand," Janet said, expressing her desire for her supporters to appreciate the challenges she had faced in balancing her public and private lives. However, as the divorce progressed, it became clear that the division of their assets would be a contentious issue. Over the years, Rene had not only been Janet's husband, but also her creative partner. He had contributed significantly to her music career, co-writing dozens of songs and directing several of her iconic music videos. Their business and personal lives were deeply intertwined, and Rene believed he was entitled to a share of the wealth they had built together. Despite having a prenuptial agreement in place, Rene decided to challenge it, asking for a significant settlement. According to U.S. Weekly, he initially sought $25 million, arguing that his contributions to Janet's success warranted a substantial payout. The legal battle over the prenup and the settlement dragged on for 2 years, with both sides making their cases in court. Ultimately, Rene was awarded $15 million, a sizable sum that reflected his role in Janet's career, though it was considerably less than the amount he had originally sought. In addition to the monetary settlement, Rene also received material assets in the divorce. He took possession of a Mercedes-Benz and the couple's luxurious 5-bedroom Malibu home, a property that had been a symbol of their shared life together. For Janet, the settlement marked the end of not only a marriage but also a chapter of her life that had been defined by secrecy and creative collaboration with Rene. Following the divorce, Janet took time to reflect on her personal life and the relationships she had experienced. In an interview with ABC News Radio, she opened up about the fact that she had only ever dated 2 men in her life: her ex-husbands, James DeBarge and Rene Elizondo Jr. Both relationships had begun under unique circumstances, and in both cases, it was Janet who had taken the initiative in starting the relationship. She revealed that she had initiated the first dates with both men, perhaps a reflection of her desire for control in her personal life, particularly in contrast to the controlled and highly scrutinized environment she had grown up in. In the early 2000s, a chance backstage meeting at one of Janet Jackson's concerts in Atlanta would spark the beginning of an unexpected but significant relationship. 2 young entertainers, known as Criss Cross, had arrived at the concert eager to meet Janet, who was already an established global superstar. They were accompanied by their producer, Jermaine Dupri, who was an up-and-coming figure in the music industry at the time. Jermaine had helped discover and produce Criss Cross, propelling them to fame with their hit Jump, which dominated the charts in the early 1990s. When Criss Cross went backstage after the concert, Janet's bodyguard allowed them through to meet her. However, when Jermaine tried to follow behind them, the bodyguard stopped him, unaware of who he was. The scene could have ended there with Jermaine being turned away, but the 2 young rappers vouched for him. They insisted to Janet that Jermaine was with them and shouldn't be left behind. Intrigued by their persistence, Janet agreed to let Jermaine in. This moment piqued Janet's curiosity. Why was Jermaine, this seemingly unassuming figure, so important to Criss Cross? What was it about him that made them so insistent that he be allowed into her inner circle? Jermaine later recounted the experience during an appearance on T.I.'s Expeditiously podcast, where he shared how that initial meeting with Janet made a lasting impression on both of them. She realized from that one time that she met me with Criss Cross that I was a little bit more important than the person who was supposed to be outside the door, Jermaine said. In that brief encounter, as they talked, Jermaine felt a certain energy between them. He could sense a connection forming, though it was subtle and unspoken. Confident that their paths would cross again, Jermaine decided to step back and let Criss Cross have their moment with Janet. From that point on, Jermaine and Janet became what could be described as friends from a distance. They weren't immediately close, but their social circles began to overlap. They knew a lot of the same people, and as time went on, their friendship grew. One key figure in this connection was Janet's stylist, who happened to be a mutual friend of Jermaine's. This indirect connection gave Jermaine an opportunity to deepen their friendship in a creative way. At the time, two-way pagers had just become popular, and Jermaine decided to send one to Janet through her stylist. It was a playful yet thoughtful gesture, a subtle way of initiating communication without being too forward. He paged her, and she replied. That small act of paging each other was the beginning of a more personal relationship. With the lines of communication now open, Janet and Jermaine started hanging out more frequently. They spent time together, getting to know each other better. Jermaine was there for her during a particularly challenging period in her life, the end of her divorce proceedings with her husband, Rene Elizondo Jr. As Janet navigated the complexities of ending her decade-long marriage, Jermaine became a source of support for her, offering companionship during what was undoubtedly an emotionally draining time. But Jermaine wasn't just a comforting presence during Janet's divorce. He also exposed her to a different side of life, one that was far removed from the glamorous and controlled world she had been accustomed to as part of the Jackson family. Janet, a member of what many considered to be America's black royal family, was used to a certain level of refinement and formality in her public persona. Jermaine, on the other hand, was deeply rooted in the Atlanta hip-hop scene, a world where strip clubs, including the famous Magic City, were a major part of the culture. Jermaine didn't shy away from introducing Janet to this aspect of his lifestyle, and he even took her to Magic City, one of his favorite places. For Janet, this was a departure from her usual routine, and it was an eye-opening experience. It showed her a different world, one where she could let loose and experience life in a way that was freer and less structured than what she was used to. While the chemistry between Janet and Jermaine was undeniable, Janet was careful not to rush into another relationship. After her divorce from Rene, she was understandably cautious about diving headfirst into a new romantic commitment. In fact, before things got serious with Jermaine, Janet briefly explored her options. One notable instance was when she went on a date with actor Matthew McConaughey after meeting him at the February 2002 Grammy Awards. At the time, McConaughey was a rising star in Hollywood, known for his laid-back charm and good looks. Their date attracted a lot of media attention, but it ultimately didn't lead to anything serious. In May 2002, Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri were seen together, paying their respects at the funeral of TLC member Lisa Left Eye Lopes. The sighting, which drew public attention, suggested a closeness between the two, though it was still unclear where their relationship stood. At the time, Janet was seemingly enjoying the single life after the end of her marriage to Rene Elizondo Jr., while Jermaine was keeping a low profile regarding his romantic pursuits. Their public appearance together raised eyebrows, but it didn't immediately solidify the idea that they were a couple. In June 2002, ABC News reported a story that reignited rumors about Janet's romantic life, but this time, it wasn't Jermaine at the center of the speculation. Janet, now 36, was spotted with none other than 21-year-old NSYNC member Justin Timberlake. According to witnesses, the two were seen dancing intimately, bumping and grinding, as it was described, at a Los Angeles club. Just 2 weeks later, another witness claimed to have seen Janet and Justin sharing a kiss at Missy Elliott's birthday party in Miami. At the time, Justin was the darling of pop music and had just been named People magazine's Most Eligible Bachelor, a title his publicist cheekily referenced when asked about the rumors. Neither Janet nor Justin denied the stories, further fueling speculation that there might be something more than friendship between them. For fans and the media, this whirlwind of gossip added an intriguing layer to Janet's dating life, with many questioning whether her connection with Jermaine was serious or if she was just casually mingling with different people. Despite these rumors, the following year would see Janet and Jermaine stepping out as an official couple. The timing seemed to catch everyone off guard. In August 2003, the two attended the MTV Video Music Awards together, making their public debut as a couple in one of the most high-profile events of the year. The moment was a media sensation, and the unlikely pairing of Janet, the Empress of Pop, with Jermaine, a well-known Atlanta producer, became the talk of the evening. Comedian Chris Rock, who was hosting the event, couldn't resist poking fun at the couple. During his opening monologue, Rock joked, "Seeing Janet Jackson with Jermaine Dupri is like finding out about a sale a day too late." His comment, while humorous, reflected the general sentiment that many found the pairing unexpected and perhaps a little surprising, given their perceived differences in status and lifestyle. Just a month after their MTV appearance, rumors surfaced that their relationship might already be on the rocks. An insider told SFGate that Jermaine was nothing more than a rebound for Janet and that she had allegedly dumped him. Speculation about the seriousness of their relationship ran rampant, with some viewing Jermaine as merely a temporary distraction after her time with Justin Timberlake. However, these rumors couldn't have been further from the truth. Janet and Jermaine were still very much together, and he remained by her side, proving to be a loyal partner in the months and years to come. Jermaine's unwavering support was especially evident during one of the most infamous moments in Janet's career, the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show. During the performance, Janet took the stage with Justin Timberlake in what was supposed to be an unforgettable collaboration. Instead, the event became notorious for the now infamous wardrobe malfunction, where Justin accidentally exposed Janet's breast to millions of viewers in a brief but shocking moment. The incident caused a media firestorm, and Janet, rather than Justin, bore the brunt of the backlash. She faced harsh criticism from the public, the media, and even the entertainment industry, with some networks blacklisting her music videos and radio stations reducing her airplay. In an emotionally charged interview with Oprah Winfrey, Janet opened up about the incident and the impact it had on her personally and professionally. Reflecting on the ordeal, Janet described the incident as an embarrassing moment and revealed that she felt abandoned by her friend Justin. She was particularly hurt by what she perceived as Justin's lack of support. Despite his attempts to reach out and discuss the situation with her, Janet was not ready to speak with him at that time. The depth of her disappointment was palpable as she recounted how she felt left to shoulder the blame alone, without the backing she had hoped for from a close friend. Janet's public expression of hurt contrasted sharply with the supportive presence of Jermaine Dupri in her life. During this turbulent period, Jermaine proved to be a steadfast ally. Janet acknowledged his crucial role in her recovery and expressed deep gratitude for his unwavering support. In her conversation with Oprah, she openly praised Jermaine, saying, "I love everything about him. I'm truly happy." His role extended beyond mere companionship. He was her emotional rock, helping her navigate the fallout from the Super Bowl incident and the ensuing media frenzy. As the Grammy Awards approached in February 2004, Janet faced another challenge. Initially scheduled to present an award to the legendary Luther Vandross, Janet was informed that the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, which oversees the Grammys, wanted to exclude her from the event. The decision was influenced by the ongoing backlash from the Super Bowl performance. The Grammys, a prestigious event in the music industry, had become a contentious platform due to the controversy surrounding Janet. The move to keep her away from the show was a stark reflection of the industry's response to the scandal, which had been unforgiving and punitive. Janet, deeply disappointed by the situation, chose to make a public statement regarding her withdrawal from the event. In her statement, she expressed her dissatisfaction with the way the situation had been handled and her disillusionment with the Grammy telecast. She said, "I feel like I don't want to be a part of something that's not treating musical people in the right light." Her decision to step away from the Grammys was a statement of principle, reflecting her frustration with the industry's reaction and its treatment of her in the wake of the controversy. In the wake of the Super Bowl controversy, Jermaine Dupri took a bold stand in support of Janet Jackson. The day following Janet's heartfelt interview with Oprah Winfrey, where she expressed her disappointment over the handling of the Super Bowl incident and her strained relationship with Justin Timberlake, Jermaine made a significant move. He called a press conference to announce his resignation from his position as president of the Atlanta chapter of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, NARAS. Jermaine's resignation was more than just a personal decision. It was a symbolic act of protest against what he perceived as an unjust treatment of Janet. In his statement, he said, "I feel what's going on with Janet is very unfair right now. I feel that if I can't change this or make it go in the right way it should go, I shouldn't be a part of it." By stepping down, Jermaine made it clear that he could no longer be associated with an organization that he felt was contributing to the unfair treatment of his girlfriend. His resignation also included a commitment to skip the Grammys, demonstrating his solidarity with Janet in a very public manner. Janet's album Damita Jo was released just a month after the Super Bowl incident, and its reception was anything but stellar. The album was met with a mix of commercial and critical disappointment. This outcome was a stark contrast to Janet's previous successes and was undoubtedly influenced by the negative press surrounding her. Jermaine, ever the loyal partner, did not shy away from defending Janet against the criticism of the album. During an interview on The Today Show, he candidly discussed the album's shortcomings. "The last record was a poor choice of music. I think the whole album was not done in the right manner," he said. His remarks underscored his belief that the album's failure was not a reflection of Janet's talent, but rather a misstep in the execution and decision-making process. Jermaine's defense of Janet was not limited to public statements. He continued to stand by her side throughout their relationship, showing unwavering support in both personal and professional arenas. This loyalty was particularly evident in July 2005, when Jermaine took on a significant role at Virgin Records, the label where Janet was signed. Jermaine was hired to revamp Virgin Records' urban music department, a pivotal position that involved overseeing the label's urban music strategy and artist roster. His appointment to this role was not just a career move, but also a demonstration of his commitment to Janet's career. By joining Virgin Records, Jermaine was in a position to potentially influence the direction of Janet's music and her standing within the industry. Following the turbulent aftermath of the Super Bowl scandal, Janet Jackson sought to make a fresh start with her 9th studio album, 20YO, released in 2006. This album marked a significant chapter in her career, reflecting her personal growth and renewed focus. Jermaine Dupri, who was deeply involved in Janet's life at the time, contributed to the album as a producer, adding his touch to a few tracks. Their collaboration was more than just professional. It was a reflection of their personal connection, as Jermaine's influence on Janet's music was a testament to their close bond. In interviews, Janet spoke candidly about how her relationship with Jermaine had impacted her life and work. She revealed that being in love with him had brought a new sense of clarity and emotional stability. "Now that I found love, I'm in a different space now," she shared, emphasizing how Jermaine's presence had positively influenced her outlook. Janet described Jermaine as drama-free and a very giving person, attributes that she valued deeply. The contrast between Jermaine and her previous relationships seemed to be a breath of fresh air for Janet, who had faced significant challenges in her personal and professional life in the past. Janet was also open about her desire to start a family with Jermaine. Despite their age difference, Janet being 6 years older, she viewed it as a non-issue. In an interview with Vibe magazine, she explained that younger men were ideal for her because they tended to have fewer problems and less ego. This perspective highlighted Janet's evolving view on relationships and her willingness to embrace a future with Jermaine, regardless of societal expectations or age-related concerns. During this period, Janet spent considerable time in Atlanta with Jermaine. Their time together was not solely focused on music. Janet was also preparing for a significant new movie role that required a dramatic physical transformation. To embody her character, Janet needed to gain 60 pounds, a process that led her to indulge in junk food to meet the film's demands. However, the filming schedule faced delays, and the new timeline conflicted with Janet's upcoming tour. As a result, she had to withdraw from the film project, a decision that added to the public scrutiny she faced. Paparazzi captured Janet at her heaviest weight of 180 pounds, leading to speculation about her personal life and well-being. The dramatic change in her appearance was a focal point for media coverage, raising questions about the reasons behind her weight gain. Despite the public attention and criticism, Jermaine remained a steadfast support for Janet. His encouragement and understanding helped her embrace her changing appearance during this challenging time. In October 2007, speculation about Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri's relationship status reached a peak. Rumors swirled that the couple had secretly married, fueled by their close public appearances and the intimate nature of their relationship. However, during the red carpet premiere of her film, Why Did I Get Married?, Janet put those rumors to rest. She was clear in her statements, emphasizing that they had not tied the knot. Her comments underscored her desire to address the speculation directly and maintain clarity about their relationship. Jermaine Dupri also addressed the speculation about their marital status, albeit with a more philosophical approach. Accompanying Janet at the premiere, he expressed his perspective on the significance of marriage. "I think people put too much importance on labels when it comes to marriage," Jermaine said. "Nothing changes when you go to the altar. If you're with somebody, you're with somebody." His remarks highlighted a more modern and unconventional view on relationships, suggesting that the essence of their bond was not defined by formalities or societal expectations. Despite their attempts to manage public perception, rumors continued to swirl, particularly regarding the possibility of Janet being pregnant with Jermaine's child. In December 2008, Jermaine took to his blog to directly address these rumors. He succinctly stated, "No, she is not pregnant, and yes, we're still together." His blog post was a straightforward response to the gossip, aimed at clearing up the confusion and reaffirming their status as a couple. It was clear that Jermaine felt compelled to clarify their situation amidst the persistent speculation. However, behind the scenes, the relationship was experiencing significant strain. The public's eagerness to define and rush their relationship contrasts with the reality of the challenges they were facing privately. The pressures of public scrutiny, combined with the demands of their careers, were taking a toll on their bond. The cracks in their relationship became more apparent with time, culminating in a pivotal moment in 2009. The passing of Janet's brother, Michael Jackson, in June 2009 was a profoundly emotional and challenging time for her. Michael, known as the King of Pop, had a monumental influence on the music industry and was a central figure in Janet's life. The memorial held for Michael on July 7, 2009 in Los Angeles was a significant event, attended by numerous celebrities and friends of the Jackson family. Jermaine's noticeable absence from the memorial was a point of interest and speculation in the media. The East Bay Times reported that Jermaine's absence was not entirely surprising, given the state of his relationship with Janet. After 7 years of dating, the couple had reportedly ended their relationship. The timing of their breakup, coupled with Jermaine's absence from such a high-profile and emotionally charged event, indicated that their relationship had indeed reached its conclusion. The decision to part ways was likely influenced by a combination of personal and public pressures, which had increasingly strained their bond. After Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri ended their relationship in 2009, the aftermath was marked by personal reflections and public revelations. A close friend of Janet's shared insights with US Weekly, emphasizing a key lesson Janet had learned from her experiences with Jermaine. The friend suggested, "You shouldn't mix business with pleasure," pointing out that Janet felt their intertwined personal and professional lives had become too entangled. This sentiment seemed to echo Janet's previous experiences with her ex-husband Rene Elizondo Jr., who was deeply involved in her career. Janet's reflection indicated that the blending of personal and professional spheres had contributed to the challenges they faced. Despite their breakup, Janet showed a level of respect and appreciation for Jermaine. A few months after their separation, she attended his birthday celebration in Italy, demonstrating that while their romantic relationship had ended, they remained on amicable terms. This gesture was a testament to their mutual respect and the positive aspects of their past relationship. Janet publicly confirmed their breakup in November 2009 during an interview with ABC News. She expressed that, despite their separation, she absolutely adored Jermaine and that they remained very good friends. Her comments reflected a genuine appreciation for their shared history and a desire to maintain a positive relationship. Jermaine Dupri also shared his perspective on their breakup over the years, including in an interview on T.I.'s Expeditiously podcast. He revealed that despite their long-term relationship, they never cohabited. The logistical challenges of their relationship played a significant role in their separation. Janet was not willing to relocate to Atlanta full-time, and Jermaine was not prepared to move to Malibu to be with her. This geographical divide underscored the difficulties in maintaining a relationship when personal and professional lives are so intertwined, revealing a fundamental incompatibility in their living arrangements. The public's interest in their relationship was further piqued in May 2011, when revelations about Jermaine's personal life surfaced. Sarai Jones, a woman who came forward claiming to be the mother of Jermaine's 7-month-old daughter, added another layer of complexity to Jermaine's public image. Reports indicated that Jermaine had fallen behind on his child support payments, a situation that highlighted financial and personal issues affecting him. The financial difficulties for Jermaine did not stop there. WSB-TV obtained records from the Georgia Department of Revenue showing that he owed over $493,000 in back taxes for 2007. Additionally, he faced substantial financial strain with a $2.5 million debt on his Atlanta home, which he had struggled to retain. Ultimately, Jermaine's mansion was lost to foreclosure, marking a significant personal and financial setback. As Jermaine grappled with these issues, Janet Jackson was also moving forward in her life. According to Page 6, Janet met Qatari billionaire Wissam Al-Mana at the 2010 opening of Dubai's Armani Hotel. Wissam, known for his reserved nature and devotion to Islam, was captivated by Janet. A source revealed that Wissam, who had previously described Janet as his dream woman, was deeply intrigued by her, leading to a new chapter in Janet's personal life. In December 2012, Janet Jackson and Wissam Al-Mana became engaged, marking a significant turn in Janet's personal life. The engagement was driven by Janet's desire to start a family, a sentiment she had long expressed. The couple's relationship had evolved to a point where Janet, then 46, was eager to move forward with marriage and children. Wissam, at 37, appeared to share her commitment to building a future together. Despite the excitement surrounding their engagement, details about their wedding remained closely guarded. Reports quickly emerged that Janet and Wissam had already secretly tied the knot by the end of 2012. Sources described the ceremony as quiet, private, and beautiful, reflecting the couple's preference for discretion. This intimate approach was consistent with their desire to keep their personal lives away from the public eye. The couple welcomed their first child, a son named Isa, in January 2017. Janet was 50 years old at the time, a milestone that underscored the significance of this new chapter in her life. The arrival of Isa was a moment of immense joy and fulfillment for Janet, aligning with her long-held dream of becoming a mother. However, the joy was short-lived. Just 4 months after Isa's birth, E! News reported that Janet and Wissam's marriage was over. The timing of the separation was sudden and surprising to many, especially given the recent birth of their child. Janet's brother, Randy, publicly claimed that Wissam had been verbally and emotionally hurtful towards Janet during their marriage, adding a layer of complexity and sadness to the breakup. As Janet navigated the challenges of her separation, an unexpected development occurred. Her ex-boyfriend, Jermaine Dupri, reappeared in her life. According to an insider who spoke with Gossip, Jermaine stepped in to support Janet during this difficult time. The source revealed that not only had Jermaine and Janet reunited to work on music together, but their relationship had also reignited on a personal level. Eyewitnesses reported seeing Janet and Jermaine enjoying each other's company at STK Restaurant in Atlanta, where they were seen cuddling and holding hands. However, the outing was not as private as some might have hoped. Outkast rapper Big Boy and Janet's brother Randy were also present, which added a layer of public scrutiny to their renewed connection. Speculation about a potential reconciliation between Janet and Jermaine persisted for years. In July 2019, Jermaine addressed these rumors during an interview with Page 6. He confirmed that he still had his massive Janet tattoo and expressed no regrets about the ink, indicating that the memories of their time together remained significant to him. When asked about the possibility of getting back together with Janet, Jermaine offered a candid response. "It's a person that I dated for almost 10 years. I can pick up the phone and call that person. So, when you ask if I wish that I could get Janet Jackson back, it's a phone call away." Jermaine's comments reflected a sense of ongoing emotional connection and open communication between the two. Despite their past separation and the complexities that had come with it, Jermaine's words suggested a level of enduring affection and a willingness to reconnect if the circumstances allowed. What do you think about Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri's relationship? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.